Welcome back to another week on the Gridiron Grind. Creta and Jimmy. Jimmy, what's going on, man? Did you have a good Christmas?
Did, man. Had a good Christmas. Santa was good to me this year. So Satan tried to get me down, gave me COVID, but it was good.
See you
Santa
later.
still came. Santa dropped all the gifts off on the front porch,
Nice.
which I understood. I
Yeah.
get it. He had a lot of homes to visit that night, so went out, got him in, and still ended up salvaging Christmas. It was a good time. What about
Nice.
yourself?
It was a great Christmas. Santa was good to the girls. So
Good deal.
that's all you can ask for. Cowboys won. It
Yeah.
was pretty solid Christmas. Speaking of that, Cowboys take down the Eagles. Dak,
Mhm.
he's still
Terrible interception.
terrible
Terrible.
interception, but he dominates the NFC East. He
Yeah.
just dominates the NFC East.
And and people with back to the Jaguars game, you and I talked about it. If you want to know why this team has signed T.Y. Hilton and is still entertaining signing Odell Beckham, look no further than Noah Brown
Yeah.
against the Jaguars. You hit the man in the hands, the ball pops up, interception, game winning, pick six. That is exactly why we're bringing in two wide receivers. What's T.Y. Hilton do?
Oh my gosh, that 3rd and 30.
Biggest catch of the game. Biggest catch of the game.
Unbelievable.
What
Guy's
a
been with
ball.
the team
Third
for
and 30, 53-yard pass, T.Y. Hilton.
unreal play by T.Y. I mean, to
Yeah.
have that guy for the playoffs. If we can get him in the mesh of the offense by the playoffs.
Yeah.
And then if we can get him next year, oh man, what a pickup that's going to be.
I mean, it's Randall Cobb. It's a
Yeah.
veteran wide receiver who shows the young cats, hey man, here's how you prepare. Here's studying, here's films, here's this, Noah Brown, you're having trouble on this route concept. Well, here's breaking it down. I mean, guy like that has succeeded for years in the league. It's a benefit in the locker room. I like it. And yeah, like I said, already
Huge
showing
play.
out 53-yard. Huge
Yeah.
play.
Dak, yeah, like I said, terrible interception to start
Oh,
off the game. I mean, one of the worst interceptions I've ever seen. But
and you could tell that interview after the game. He was just,
yeah, I mean, it was awful.
he knew he's better than that. He just sort of just,
But he completed 16 passes in a row after that.
yeah. Then he buckled down.
CeeDee Lamb really showed out. I mean, I think he has gotten better the second half of the season. Remember the first half we were talking about, dude, CeeDee even a first. I think he's really coming into that number one receiver role. I mean, he's had some big games down the stretch. I mean, what did he have? 10 catches against the Eagles?
We're finding ways to get him the ball.
Yeah.
And then you notice Philly started bracketing him. And that again goes back to, guys like T.Y. Hilton, guys Gallup, Noah Brown, guys got to step up because if CD, like you said, I'm agreeing with you 100%, he's embracing and starting to perform like a number one receiver. That's the type of coverage a number one's going to get. So that means the other guys, there's going to be more opportunities to look your way. Somebody besides our just stud stable of tight ends that we've got has got to be able to catch the ball and make plays. So CD has been really impressive.
Yes, he has. So outside the Dak interception, I mean, the offense was clicking. Did have a couple 3-and-outs that were just not in good situations, like starting the second half. The Eagles, for everything the Cowboys defense, I mean, Cowboys defense is struggling. 3 games in a row, Cowboys defense is struggling. They gave up a lot of yards to the Texans, gave up a lot of yards and points to the Jaguars, gave up a lot to the Eagles. But they did force a bunch of turnovers against the Eagles.
4 of them. Got 4 of them.
Was it 2 fumbles and 2 interceptions?
2 picks, 2 fumbles.
I mean, that was the difference in the game. If you can get turnovers, it's the equalizer. But other than that, I mean, we got 1 sack in those 3 games. So the pass rush, Micah Parsons is the only one even making a dent. And I think they might have figured something out with old Parsons because remember, like there was times he was unblockable with his first move. I mean, he'd make his first move and then he was in the backfield. I mean, that was happening a lot the first half of the season. Now, if you look, his first move's not beating the offensive lineman. I think that must be some film study going on. They must have picked up on something he's doing the tackles have now made an adjustment on him, and he's just going to have to make an adjustment back. But our pass rush and our defense, playoff wise, it's got to get better.
It's got to get better. You're right. And, Parsons, like we said early in the season, he was good for, you know, second half, fourth quarter, when we had to have something. He was good to either rush the quarter, he'd either get the sack, he'd get the stop in the backfield, he'd deflect the pass. Something was missing it last couple games. It showed up again in Philly. He rushes, gets a handout, causes Miles Sanders to go back inside, helps force the fumble. So at least that's kind of back. But I think you're exactly right. Like Parsons, they're chipping him with a running back. They're allowing the guard to kind of double team, but he's still. It's like he's got you see it a lot in guys, and it works. Maybe they're rookie, maybe the first, second year where they can do. Oh, I'm just stronger, or I've got this one move, and then guys in the NFL, especially linemen play what decade in the NFL, and they're not there for by accident. These guys. It's what separates these guys from no one knows where university is still in the league, and some stud from an SEC, Ohio State, USC, wherever is out in the first couple. Leatherwood, perfect example, gets cut by the Raiders. Why? It's terrible. It's not very good, right? So that's what separates it, is that film. And I think they've got something on Parsons, and he's not getting any help either. So they know, okay, we're able to do
DeMarcus Lawrence. Where are you at, man?
He's gone.
Where's Tank Lawrence been?
I don't know, but that even plays into it, because they're going. Used to, you couldn't double Parsons because you had Lawrence coming in the backfield, and we had, the D tackles were getting back there, but now they can double Parsons because everybody else is able to just man up on the other side. We've got to we got to get something going.
This is the first part of the season. I mean, everybody's forgotten about who Randy Gregory is. This is the first time, this stretch. It's like we really could have used a guy like Randy Gregory.
Used Randy Gregory, a guy, and Sam Williams, I think, is going to be good.
Yeah, of course. I think he's out for the year.
And we need him now.
This week.
And Randy, you're right. And I sat there and I said that out loud. I said, boy, losing Randy Gregory really showing up right about now, because you have nobody that can really
been a problem all year. The last couple of weeks, it's like, golly, we could have used a guy like that. But,
Quinn or Gregory, one of the two.
I've really felt confident about the Cowboys all year. And it's mainly been because of the defense. Offensively, I think we're good enough. And, we've been playing really good football. Zeke's playing his best ball since in the last couple of years. 8 games in a row with
since he watched Pollard take off Pollard this year. Yeah.
You got CD playing well. Schultz is automatic. Those little short intermediate routes. Gallup's always good for a big play. Now, if you mix in T.Y. Hilton, I like where our offensive line is playing pretty good. I mean, they give up some, but heck, everybody's going to give up some. But overall, offense, I love where our offense is at. And the reason I've felt confident in the Cowboys all year is because I really loved our defense. But our defense, we're going to have to go on the road unless the Eagles lose the last 2 games and we win the last 2. If that doesn't happen, we're going to have to go on the road. And that worries me some, playoff. If you're going to have to go on the road and your defense isn't elite, it's hard to win, because you can't count on turnovers. As much as I love that win over the Eagles, does Jalen Hurts turn it over 4 times? I mean, they've turned it over 4 times that Jalen Hurts is playing. I don't know.
You're exactly right. Another thing is, it was their backup. Gardner Minshew is more
he played well. Backup. He made some throws.
Guy that started in this league, helped kind of resurge Jacksonville after Bortles left. One thing I thought Gardner Minshew did well, and I think it's what ended up coming back to biting him. Gardner Minshew, that internal clock, quarterback, that internal clock, all quarterbacks got to have. He really operated by that late in the game, because you saw, all those throwaways.
Yeah.
As frustrating as that might be if you're an Eagles fan, it was frustrating for me because we were like half a step away from sacking him.
Yeah.
He just gets it out, going out of bounds. So I'm sitting here going, okay, that's beneficial because it kept the sack. But going back to Jalen Hurts, Does Jalen Hurts throw those balls away? I don't think so.
Probably
I
not.
think Jalen Hurts is probably more, runs the offense a little bit better. Those may be completions, or he may bust a run out of there. But I thought Minshew
Yeah.
did a great job of keeping us from getting to him by using that internal clock, getting rid of the ball. But like you said, I don't know if Hurts does that. I think Hurts, we might have a couple more sacks, but Hurts probably also has a couple more plays.
He
So
probably runs the ball better. But
yeah,
anyway, again, Cowboys, another division win. I mean, Dak just dominates NFC East over his career. He really has. Jalen Hurts has, of course, he didn't start, but he's still yet to beat the Cowboys when Dak plays. So we'll see if they match up in the playoffs, if that's how that'll go. You're gonna have to do it in Philadelphia. Dak's gonna have to,
yeah,
if the 49ers might be the best team in NFC right now anyway.
dude.
But we're gonna have to go through the 49ers and the Eagles, probably both. And it's gonna be a tough road in the playoffs, but
And I mean, they have not missed, speaking of 49ers, they have not
that's
missed a beat.
unbelievable. With
They
Brock
went from
Purdy
Jimmy
of all
G
people.
to Big Jock Brock. And I mean, he is,
I
I
thought
mean,
he was one of the most overrated college quarterbacks that got
me
so much
too.
out of me. I mean, we were on the
Me
same
too.
page there.
Because there were guys, what was Connor, what was old boy,
Connor
South
Cook.
Carolina? Connor Shaw.
Oh,
Connor
Connor
Shaw,
Shaw.
South
Oh
Carolina.
yeah, Connor Shaw.
Winner, right? A winner. Didn't cut it in the league. Connor
That was
Cook, Michigan
after
State.
Stephen Garcia was at South Carolina.
Yeah, it was after
And
cousin
Connor
Steven.
Shaw.
I
Yeah.
mean, Connor Shaw, a winner, kind of scrappy
Yep.
guy, played football hard. Connor Cook. I mean, some of these guys, and it's like Brock Purdy. I think those guys are way better than Brock Purdy in college. Brock Purdy just, yeah, he plays hard, but like you said, he was good against bad teams. He was bad
Yeah.
against good teams. That guy has stepped in, and I saw the funniest thing since this has all started is the meme with Tobey Maguire from Spider-Man 1, where he like puts his glasses on and he like can't see, or no, it's he can't see, then he puts his
With the
glasses
glasses
on,
on.
and it's him looking, and it's a blurry picture of Joe Montana, and then when he puts his glasses on, it's Brock Purdy.
I mean, that guy
And
hasn't missed I mean, he's balling, dude. He's balling.
dude, I think it goes to that offense they're running. One, he's got probably the best defense in the league helping him out.
Yeah.
And he doesn't make mistakes. What do we talk about, guys? Stetson Bennett. What do we talk about him? He doesn't turn the ball over, like doesn't make mistakes. Same with Purdy. And it also helps when for some reason no one can guard George Kittle and he's putting up about 3 TDs a game.
It's true. It's true.
So,
the Niners are going to be, I mean, the NFC, I think there's 3 legit teams in each conference. In the NFC, it's the Eagles, Niners, Cowboys. The Vikings. I don't expect the Vikings to do much. In the AFC, I think you got the Bills, Chiefs, and Bengals.
yeah.
I mean,
That.
The playoffs between those 6 teams, I think it's going to be phenomenal football. NFL playoffs. I really like that they added the 7 teams and the first team gets a bye. I like that. I think it matches up well. It makes you have to play to get that number 1 overall seed the whole way in the season. It makes it worth a lot. And just the top 4 teams can host, get to host a playoff. I like that too. So the playoffs are going to be phenomenal. 2 weeks left in the regular season. The Cowboys play the Titans on Thursday Night Football. Titans, Tannehill's out for the year. Malik Willis did not look good against the Texans. Titans actually lost to the Texans.
Yeah.
Titans, they've just been struggling big time. I mean, they're not even in the playoffs anymore. The Jaguars are now in first place in their division. I mean, this is a game if Cowboys lose this game, it'll be bad.
It will be bad. And it's like you said, the Titans are not good. But what's been some of our Achilles heel? It's been the run game. Went from couldn't run on us to please don't run on us. And Titans got a guy who pretty good at running the football. Got an offensive line that's still pretty mean. And so I expect a lot of King Henry there on Thursday.
That's all they got. I mean, Malik Willis did not look good against the Texans, so the Cowboys better load the box up because Derrick Henry might get 40 carries.
Yeah.
And better find a way
to chance he have close to 200 yards if we're not careful. Like you said, load it up, make Malik Willis beat us. Okay, fine. Malik Willis, if you beat us.
If he beats us, that's got to be the game plan. Yeah. But I fully expect the Cowboys to take care of business. Thursday.
even on a short week.
Yeah.
I do
So
too.
I expect Cowboys to take care of business. I really expect them to win the next two. That put them at 13-4. That'd even be a game better than they were last year. Then they head to the playoffs and play probably the winner of Tampa Bay and Carolina Sunday. The Buccaneers and the Panthers play. It's in Tampa Bay.
Give me the Panthers,
If the
please. Don't.
the Panthers been on fire. If the Panthers win, they will be tied with the Buccaneers, but I believe they'll have the tiebreaker, so they would be in first place if the Panthers beat the Buccaneers.
Give me the Panthers. Do not give me Tom
I do
Brady.
not want to play Tom Brady at home at his place in the playoffs. I know they're bad. I just don't want to do it. I mean,
I'm with you.
I want
Give me
no
the
part of it.
Panthers. Give me the Cinderella story.
Yeah.
Eventually the clock's going to hit midnight, and I think we could take the Panthers more so than just Brady. I mean, don't give
Even
me.
though I think
same
the
with
Panthers are the better team. That's how much Tom Brady in the playoffs scares me. I want no
same
part
with
of
Rodgers. 14-point lead. Same with Rodgers.
If Green Bay wins their last two games, they're in the playoffs. I'm rooting against that. I know they're not good. They beat us and they shouldn't have, but I want no part of Rodgers and Brady in the playoffs. I just don't. So
I mean, those guys have been there so much and they know how to do it that when you get in the huddle, the quarterback's calm. He's calm. He's telling everybody what's going on. Like that calmness spreads. Nobody's panicking. One way you can really take advantage of teams and capitalize in the playoffs is when teams panic. They're hurrying. Everything is multiplied in the playoffs as it is. Every incompletion, every turnover, and you get somebody under center who's nervous as well and kind of freaking out. That's a recipe for disaster. But Brady and Rodgers know how to do it. They know how to handle their business. So yeah, I don't want to play either of those guys. Give me Sam Darnold. Give me Sam Darnold.
Give me the Panthers.
Yeah.
All right. So the Cowboys need to take care of business Thursday. So NFL games. The Monday night game in the NFL is going to be the game of the week. It's Buffalo Bills at Cincinnati Bengals next Monday night. What a game that'll be on Monday night. Bills need to win to stay in the first place, number one seed. So it should be a heck of a game on Monday night.
Does it feel? Is it just me, or does it feel like some people, if you're not a Chiefs or a Mahomes fan, does it kind of feel like the Chiefs are kind of getting written off? Like,
yes,
I'm hearing stuff. It feels like this is basically a preview of the AFC Championship game. Yeah. And I agree. I mean, I think both these two teams, like you said, they're two of the three that you mentioned are the best teams in the AFC. I think Buffalo, it wouldn't bother me if Buffalo won as long as they didn't beat Dallas. But yeah, it feels like it's kind of like Cincinnati and Buffalo are getting all this hype, and because Mahomes finally looks human, they're kind of like, yeah, well,
he looks human, but they're 12-3.
Thank you.
They're tied with the Bills, but the Bills beat them in the regular season. That's why the Bills are number one right now. But if the Bengals beat the Bills, then the Bengals and Bills would have 4 losses. Chiefs would have 3 losses in the inside track to the number one overall seed. I'm with you. You can't overlook. I mean, the Chiefs.
And it's crazy to say that.
They've been in 2 Super Bowls, 1-1. So.
And it's crazy to say that, but it does feel like they're just kind of getting written off.
Yeah, they are.
So.
Yep. The playoffs are going to be phenomenal. And then we're going to get a great matchup Monday to kind of preview that. So. So 2 weeks left. NFL bowl season though is in full swing. This week is
it ever
between Christmas and New Year's Day. Of course, this year New Year's Day is on Sunday, so that Monday the 2nd. This week right here of bowl season, it's the best. So many good games, so many good bowls. I guess let's break it down. So we're doing picks. So we're recording this on Monday. We'll have it out. We're trying to get it out Tuesday by noon. I have a pick for tomorrow night, Tuesday night, 9:15. So we're going to try to get this out
as well.
Noon on Tuesday. So, but this week's loaded with bowl games. I got 11 picks for you in college football. I'm going all college this week. I got 11 picks in college football. I guess we'll just kind of go down the bowls and kind of give picks.
Yeah.
So there's 4 games on Tuesday. You got the Camilla Bowl, Serve Pro, First Responders Bowl, the Birmingham Bowl, and then the Guaranteed Rate Bowl. The Guaranteed Rate Bowl is the one I got. Wisconsin, Oklahoma State. I got a pick for you. It doesn't kick off till 9:15 Central Time. Wisconsin's starting quarterback, he's out. He's in the portal, Graham Mertz. Oklahoma State starting quarterback, he's out. Spencer Sanders, he's in the portal. So you got two teams, backup quarterbacks. And if you looked at Oklahoma State in the couple of games they played without Spencer Sanders, they struck a gold to move the football and scored points. I know they got a couple weeks of practice to get ready for this, but I'm all over that under. It's low, but I still like it. I just don't see either one of these teams all of a sudden putting up points with backup quarterbacks. So give me Wisconsin, Oklahoma State on Tuesday, December 27th in the Guaranteed Rate Bowl. Give me under 44.5, Wisconsin, Oklahoma State, under 44.5.
I like that one, man. I went back and forth on that. I've got two picks actually tomorrow. I'm gonna stick in that same game, and I'm gonna go Wisconsin. Give me Wisconsin -3 in that. I almost took that under, but I was like, man, I'm gonna end
It's
up getting
low.
they're low. They're probably gonna hose me on that if I bet it. So I'm gonna stay away. I'm gonna take Wisconsin -3. I just think exactly what you said. Oklahoma State doesn't know what to do without Spencer Sanders, the 4-year starter under center. We're going to see how deep the Cowboys are at quarterback. But I think Wisconsin's ability, they're Big Ten, they're Wisconsin. You know they're going to run the football. And I think that's going to be the difference, is the ground game ability by Wisconsin. So I think they take that Wisconsin -3. Then my other one for that Tuesday is the Coastal Carolina, East Carolina under 65. I like that. Coastal Carolina. Their quarterback is in the transfer portal. McCall is gone.
Yeah.
So that to me, like you said, same with Wisconsin, Oklahoma State. New guy under center, new offense. This screams under to me. Both these teams aren't scoring in the regular season. They're not averaging enough to hit this over anyway. And I don't think they're just going to all of a sudden start it at bowl season. So give me under 65.
I've probably watched more ECU games this year than I'd like to admit, which has probably been like 3 or 4, maybe even 5. They're a gritty, grinded out, kind of hard-nosed, blue-collar football team. Nothing's flashy about them. I mean, they just grind it out. They play hard, compete. It's like sometimes it's like a rock fight. They want to fight. They want a rock fight. Like they play hard. So yeah, they're not running some gimmicky offense trying to score 100 points and run 100 plays. So the under in the mid 60s like that's a great call. I like it. And then you throw in Coastal Carolina's Grayson McCall, who's kind of been their all everything quarterback. He missed some time this year. But with him being out, I think the under's the play. Then you move to Wednesday, December 28th. 4 big games. The Military Bowl is UCF Duke. The AutoZone Liberty Bowl is Kansas and Arkansas. The Holiday Bowl, Oregon, North Carolina. And the Texas Bowl, Texas Tech, Ole Miss. 4 really good bowl games Wednesday the 28th. I have 2 plays that day. I'll start with the Military Bowl, UCF and Duke. I like Duke -3. Duke has been the surprise team of the Power 5 this year. I mean, they were terrible. Their over-under was 3. They ended up going 8-4. New head coach Mike Elko was the DC at Texas A&M. Came over, did a phenomenal job. They play hard. They're gritty. I think they're tougher. Power 5 school going against UCF. Yes, UCF will be in the Power 5 next year, but that roster, it's not built quite like Duke defense is, I think, going to give UCF some problems, especially along the line of scrimmage. I think that'll be the difference. I like Duke -3.
I like that too. It's not hard to root against a school with a mythical national championship.
Yeah.
I think UCF is going to come in pretty cocky and try to overlook Duke. Duke's like, that's fine. That's what everyone's done to us all year. We've been in this position. I like that. That's a really good play. I have one pick on Wednesday, and it's the obvious one. AutoZone Liberty Bowl, Arkansas Razorbacks against the Kansas Jayhawks. Both these teams coming in 6-6. Arkansas favored at 2. Give me Arkansas excuse me, 2.5. Give me Arkansas minus 2.5. I think we pull this one out. Kansas offensively, I almost wanted to take the over in this, but if we're bad offensively, we are like really bad and can't score. So I
Well,
don't think we would hold up our end of the bargain. So I think Arkansas minus 3 because we got a lot of guys who are kind of playing for their one last time to be a Razorback, and KJ's coming back, and I think Rocket Sanders, KJ, between those two, I think we can beat the Kansas Jayhawks by 3.
it's a good bet. I am going to take the over. I'm taking the Kansas Arkansas over 69. Here's why. Arkansas, Drew Sanders, heck of a season, first team All American linebacker.
Yep.
Arkansas. He's opted out going to the draft. He already out. Catalon's already out, and I believe there's another defensive guy that's not playing or injured. So Arkansas is going to be down a little bit on defense.
D lineman.
Kansas. The difference between Kansas defense, their offense is played phenomenal. They can really run the football, and their secondary is not bad. But where Kansas still has some deficiencies from that Kansas of old is their run defense. Their run defense, it's the worst in the Big 12. I don't even know if it finished in the top 100. It's just bad. It's not good. They're not good against the run. In Arkansas with KJ Jefferson, is Rocket Sanders playing?
Yep.
I think it's gonna be one of those games.
Now.
There's gonna be a lot of points, but it's gonna be through the ground. I think people will throw it. I mean, Daniels is a good quarterback for Kansas. Very comparable quarterbacks in this game between Daniels of Kansas and KJ Jefferson. Both run it better than they throw it, but they both can also light it up. But I think these two teams are going to run a lot. I think it's going to be a high-scoring game, but on the ground. So I like the over. Kansas, Arkansas over 69.
I like it.
So
I almost wanted to get in on this Oregon, North Carolina. I think Oregon's had themselves one heck of an offseason with this early signing period, the transfer portal. I mean,
they got to be your early favorites to win the Pac-12 next year.
100%. Bo Nix coming
USC.
back. I think Oregon, USC, I think now, like I said, are got to be the two favorites. I agree.
Yeah. Oregon's
stayed away from it though because
it's just
North
too many
Carolina,
points.
Mac Brown. It's too many points.
It's 14.
And North Carolina.
Drake May, I think Drake May's playing.
Yeah. Too many points. I agree.
It's just too many points for a bowl game that you just don't know how motivated is Oregon.
Mm-hmm.
But North Carolina's going to go all the way to San Diego. I don't know. It's just too many points. And then I even thought about Texas Tech Ole Miss. It's 3.5. I thought about Tech because Tech plays hard. Their coach, Joe McGuire, they feed off him. Tech plays hard. They're not that good. They're solid, but they play hard. They're well coached. They never quit. They go for it on fourth down a lot, and they execute at a high level on fourth down. And sometimes Ole Miss with Lane Kiffin, you don't know where their head's at.
Right. Now he's gone. So,
So I don't know. I thought about taking Texas Tech, but I'm not. I might end up taking it, but I'm not going to give it for the show. But if I had to pick one there, I'd take Texas Tech plus 3.5. Anyway, moving to Thursday. Thursday, we got 3 games. You got Pinstripe Bowl, Syracuse, Minnesota. The Cheez-It Bowl, Oklahoma, Florida State. That one's at 9.5. Florida State favored 9.5. And then the Alamo Bowl is Texas and Washington. Thursday. So you got any plays on Thursday? The 28th?
I don't have any plays on Thursday for the show. I know myself. I'm kind of leaning Washington. Without Bijan, I don't know how well Texas is going to be able to move the ball. Bijan and the backup running back. Penix has had a heck of a year, and he's coming back next year.
Leads the country in passing yards. Washington.
Yeah.
Texas secondary is average. Production-wise, they've been average.
Gun to my head, I'd take Washington -3 or +3. Excuse me.
It opened up. It actually opened up as like a 5.5 point favorite. It's down as soon as Bijan and Roschon said they weren't playing it. Texas is -3. DeMarvion Overshown, Texas's second leading tackler, linebacker. He's also opted out. So Texas has 3 guys opting out. I will say this as a Longhorn, diehard Longhorn. I will say, I mean, Bijan, he's a first round. He'll be the first running back taken. He's a heck of a talent. He does a lot for the offense, but Texas that's one position they're loaded at is running back. Jonathan Brooks, I feel, will have a very productive game and be a very productive next year. He's not as good as Bijan Robinson, but at the same time, I don't know how much that drop off is really going to be. Texas offensive line is way better at run blocking than they are at pass blocking. They're really young. Washington is not good against the run. So I think Texas will have a lot of success running the football. But what scares me in this game is Sarkisian's given like 3 press conferences since end of the season. And I just, it's my team. I follow them more than anybody. I can tell Sarkisian, he is going to throw the ball so many times in this game against Washington. He wants so bad. He wants Quinn Ewers to be, and he struggled the second half of the season. Texas is going to throw the ball 50 times this game. They could probably win the game if they just ran the ball. Texas is going to chunk this ball with Bijan out, Roschon out. Sark wants to get Quinn Ewers right. Texas is going to throw the ball, and they're going to throw it a lot. Washington's going to throw it. Penix leads the country in passing yards. So what does that tell me? Over. I'm taking Texas, Washington over 67.5. I think it's going to be a ton of passing in this game. There might be 750 yards combined passing yards in this game. Penix might throw for 400. Ewers might throw for 350. There could be 750 plus combined passing yards. To me, everything about it screams over. Texas, Washington over 67.5.
I could see it. I think
the smart play is Washington. If you're going to take a side, it would be Washington +3 because, Penix could light it up. He could throw for a bunch of yards. We'll see. I think if Sark gets in a pinch, he could run it because, like I said, I don't know if Washington's defense is they're average against the run, and I think Texas offensive line run blocks better than they pass block. So if you get in a pinch, I think he'll run it, but I really think Sark's it's gonna be like the Oklahoma State game. Throw it way too many times.
There you go.
So
it's one way to do it.
See what happens.
It's only crazy if it doesn't work.
Yeah, and it didn't work against Oklahoma State. He had Bijan averaging like 7 yards a carry, and he threw it 51 times with Ewers, who was 19 of 51. So it could be a game like that. And that game went over. There
you go.
So
there you go.
Friday, December 30th, 5 bowl games. You got the Duke's Mayo Bowl, which has one of the all-time great celebrations. The winner gets dumped in Duke's Mayo.
Gosh, dude.
Big fan of mayo, but I just would not want to be doused in mayo.
Can't stand mayonnaise, can't stand Miracle Whip. You want to mix it in something, that's fine. I'm not sticking a butter knife in a jar and, oh man, what's really going to make this sandwich is some mayonnaise or some Miracle Whip. Absolutely not. That to me would be awful. I'd be like, if you dump this on me, I will cut you. If I was the coach, I'd say, if you dump this on me, I will cut you. Dump it on the OC, dump it on the DC, dump it on someone else. Don't dump this on me.
See, I can't have a burger without some mayo.
That's
one of the key essentials to a great cheeseburger is mayonnaise. Like, I don't even count Miracle Whip as that's not mayonnaise, but Hellman's. But this Duke's, I'm a big fan of the Duke's Mayo. But getting it dumped on me out of a Gatorade bucket,
nope.
No, I'm out on that. It looks so gross.
Yeah.
Anyway, Duke's Mayo Bowls, Maryland, NC State. Then we got the great Tony the Tiger Sun Bowl, Pitt, UCLA out in El Paso. Taxslayer Gator Bowl, Notre Dame, South Carolina. Barstool Sports Arizona Bowl, Ohio, Wyoming. Now, if you're familiar with Barstool Sports, they're actually going to be broadcasting it on barstoolsports.tv, and they're going to do the announcing, but it's going to be from a gambling perspective.
That's awesome.
They did a basketball tournament, and they did it They don't really talk about so and so drops back to pass and hits Williams on a slant for a gain of 15 yards, first down. It'll be, hey, it's Ohio and Wyoming. Hey, Wyoming's first half's -3. Ohio has the ball right now. If you have the under ticket, like they'll be betting on it on the game and also broadcasting what their bets are. So
Might have to watch that. I'd like
I
to
think it's
see
the
how they
future.
do
I think
that.
it's the future. I think ESPN in 20 years, they're gonna have like ESPN 8 will be broadcasting games with like me and you broadcasting the game, talking about I got the Cowboys -6 here, you know what I mean, or -4. Could you imagine like me broadcasting? I had the Cowboys against the Eagles -4, and it didn't hit till the very end. Imagine me on the
Oh,
broadcast
yeah.
the whole time
It'd be
being
awesome.
slanted, trying to figure out how I'm going to get a Cowboys cover in this game.
Yeah. Just
So that's
talking
gonna be
about
cool.
just unrealistic things like, okay,
Yeah,
we need to score, we need to go for two. Okay,
yeah.
then we need to get the onside. We got to get, yeah, yeah.
I mean,
I
sitting
might
there,
watch that game
Gardner
just to
Minshew's
hear.
driving him. He's got him down inside the 20 with 30 seconds left, and I'm sitting there. I can't have a touchdown because the extra point. You'd be
Yeah.
rooting either for overtime. You'd have to miss the extra point, go to overtime if they would have scored a touchdown. But anyway, so
Mm.
Barstool, I think it's on Barstool Sports.tv but anyway, they're broadcasting the game. Ohio, Wyoming, and then there's Tennessee, Clemson play in the Orange Bowl. This is Friday, December 30th. I have 3 plays this day. Friday,
I
December
have
30th.
two.
2? Okay. I'm going to start with Duke's Mayo Bowl. NC State,
Hmm.
Maryland. I think NC State is just a better football team. They're -1. They're starting quarterbacks out. He's in the transfer portal, but their backup played a lot this year. Leary was a starter. He missed time. Backup played a lot, and they were productive. NC State, I think, is just better than Maryland, and it's only -1, so I'm taking a shot at it. Give me NC State -1 in the Duke's Mayo Bowl.
I like that. I could see that. Maryland, little Tua though. Little Tua plays tough, but
Yeah,
yeah, North Carolina State. I do. I agree. I think they're the better football team. I'm going with the Tax Slayer Gator Bowl for my first one. Notre Dame against South Carolina. Notre Dame -2. Give me Notre Dame -2. Spencer Rattler out there. South Carolina coming off the Clemson win. That's all emotion, rivalry game. I think they're going to come back down to earth. And I think Notre Dame is going to try to use this, like we talked about. They're going to try to use this to go forward into National Signing Day, as well as use this momentum for next year. And Freeman, I think, is going to have them ready to go. Notre Dame -2 is my pick in the Tax Slayer Gator Bowl.
I am going to match that, and I'm with you. I think Notre Dame wins this game. If you look, we watched a lot of Notre Dame because we both had a Notre Dame season win total over. They got better throughout the season. They had 2 terrible losses, Marshall at home and Stanford, but they played well. They beat Clemson. I mean, it wasn't even close. They played USC tight, lost that game, but USC, they're a top 7-8 team.
Heisman Trophy winner. So
Heisman Trophy winner, and he had a phenomenal. That game probably won him the Heisman Trophy.
Mhm.
His game against Notre Dame. I think Notre Dame got better. I think they're going to continue to get better with this week of preparation. They don't have the tight end, Michael Mayer, who will probably be the best tight end in the draft since the guy from Georgia is only a sophomore, Bowers. So Michael Mayer from Notre Dame, he's opted out, not playing. That worries me a little bit because he was such a part of their passing game. But I think Notre Dame's just a better team. So I'm with you, Jimmy. I'm taking Notre Dame -2 as well.
I like it. I think they win. My last one here, going down to the Capital One Orange Bowl, Tennessee against Clemson. Clemson favored by 4.5. Give me Tennessee +4.5. We've already seen Ukulele came down between Hawaii and Oregon State for this guy, and that tells you, you know,
I'm a little
this guy
shocked he went to
was.
Oregon State because I love Oregon State and Coach Smith and
Mhm.
everything they've done there. I don't see him fitting at Oregon State.
I don't either. I think I just I don't see him wanting to work hard enough, man. I mean, obviously I don't know the guy,
Exactly. They're like
but I
blue
know this guy
collar,
just,
hard nosed. I mean,
yeah,
they do run a lot of quarterback run game stuff, so he could fit in there. But
maybe as long as he doesn't have to throw the ball, he should have went to Army. But anyway, give me Tennessee +4.5. I think Tennessee is the better team. Hooker, you're going to have Klubnik is going to be playing. Klubnik, I think, is going to be really good.
first
But
start, it'll be
uh,
his first start.
Right. First real start against Tennessee, who Tennessee can play football really,
I mean,
really
they
well.
had, 10-2.
Dude,
Their two
yeah.
losses were, one was to Georgia,
Hmm.
and their other one, I forget who their second, but it was with the backup quarterback, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was South Carolina.
Yeah, South Carolina.
South Carolina
Backup. That's
with the
when Hendon
backup.
Hooker went down.
Hmm.
So,
Yeah,
I
Hooker's
mean,
playing, and Hooker's one of those guys that he's an older
Hooker is
guy.
going to play.
Yeah, I think he's playing. That's the last thing I read was he was playing. So,
Okay,
uh, like I said, I think
I just hadn't
Tennessee
heard.
plus 4.5. I think Tennessee wins this game outright.
If
Even
Hooker's playing, absolutely, I'm
give
with you.
me 4.5.
Although I'm a big fan of Klubnik from Austin Westlake, first start, but Tennessee's a good football team. Tennessee's real.
Yeah,
People were thinking Tennessee was going to be that fourth spot, and if Hooker doesn't get hurt, and they probably beat South Carolina, and I don't know, South Carolina did drum them. So what a finish South Carolina had,
yeah.
beating Tennessee and beating Clemson, and yet we're picking Notre Dame to beat South Carolina. So
I
it's
think
just
they're just the
how
better.
football goes.
Yeah, I think they're just the better team.
I got one more game on Friday, December 30th, and it is Tony the Tiger's Sun Bowl, Pitt, UCLA, UCLA minus 5.5. There's been conflicting reports. I believe that Thompson Robinson is playing for UCLA. And so as long as he plays, I like UCLA. Slovis, the starting quarterback for Pitt, has entered the transfer portal. Even if Thompson Robinson doesn't play, I probably still like UCLA, but you'll probably get a better number.
Mhm.
But right now, UCLA is minus 5.5 over Pitt. Again, UCLA had a phenomenal season, and I expect that to carry over to the bowl game. So give me the UCLA Bruins minus 5.5 over Pitt. Tony the Tiger, Sun Bowl.
I like that. Going back to that Tennessee Clemson game, I just looked up. Hooker uh, did tear his ACL there towards the end, but he's talking like I guess they're going to brace it up and he's going to play. I don't know, maybe something to keep an eye on there. I don't know how you'd play with that, but they said I saw a deal on him. That's kind of what made me pick them. Was he was like, I'm ready. I want to play and be there for my team and da da da. So I'm like, okay, well,
He can. What is it with the ACL? You can go forward, right? You just can't. You can't
can't go
twist.
lateral.
Can't go lateral.
Can't go lateral.
You wouldn't be able to
Jason
scramble.
White won the Heisman on a braced
That's true.
ACL. So
And he just was no part of his game was running it at all. Hooker's
yeah,
just gonna
right.
have to. You could be. It can be done from the quarterback position, but
Hmm.
you're gonna have to be all throwing. Like you're not running at all.
No.
We moved to Saturday, New Year's Eve, December 31st. It's a huge day. You got the
Hmm.
Sugar Bowl, which is at 11 a.m. Not a fan of that, but can you imagine if you Alabama, Kansas State, you go to New Orleans for New Year's Eve, and you got to get up at 11 to go to the bowl game?
Although you get at 11, get out of the way early.
It's true, and then you go party that. I guess you
Hang
just
out in
don't
New
party as much.
Orleans.
You don't
So
party as
yeah.
much Friday. You just party hard on
Hmm.
Saturday.
Right.
So Sugar Bowl, Alabama, Kansas State. Alabama, we talked about this last week. Bryce Young, probably number 1 overall pick's going to play. Will Anderson, defensive end for Alabama, probably the number 2 overall pick, is also going to play. Like to see that. Alabama favored by 6.5 over Kansas State in the Sugar Bowl. Music City Bowls, Iowa, Kentucky, also at 11. And then you got the 2 playoff games. You got the Fiesta Bowl as TCU, Michigan. Michigan favored by 7.5. Ohio State, Georgia in the Peach Bowl. 7 o'clock, Georgia favored by 6.5. I have 2 plays
I got one.
on this day. Let's see. So I'm gonna go with the first playoff game, Fiesta Bowl, 3 o'clock, Michigan minus 7.5. Buy that down to 7. I'm gonna take the Wolverines minus 7. Here's why. TCU to me reminds me a lot of Ohio State. I think they're very similar teams. We saw what Michigan did to Ohio State. They just chip away, and finally pulled away from them. Michigan will be able to run the football on TCU. Kansas State ran it on them in the Big 12 championship game. Michigan's got bigger offensive linemen than Kansas State does. They don't have the quarterback run game, but they have the ability to run the football and wear you down. I think Michigan just controls the game from the start. TCU will have their moments Duggan will probably play well, just like Stroud played well. But I think Michigan's just a better football team. So buy it down to 7 or wait and see if you can get it. It comes down to 7 on its own, but I like Michigan -7 over TCU.
I like that as well. That exact same game. Give me Michigan -7. And the biggest thing you touched on it is the offensive line and defensive line for Michigan. TCU in that Big 12 championship game against K-State at no point owned the offensive and defensive line,
Yeah.
the matchup. So I think Michigan, both sides of their ball, both sides of the ball for them on the line is better than what Kansas State's got. And I think Harbaugh's out to prove, he's got something to prove. And I think Michigan, like you said, this may be close early. TCU may even go up, but I think Michigan's ability to control the ground game and to get to Max Duggan and kind of frustrate him. And this is where you may see that sort of, the inexperience. We've got Cumbie there, Dykes there. Terrible play to not put it in Duggan's hands. I think now you may see a guy kind of overthink things, and I think that may be TCU's downfall. Is kind of some
if you've heard some of these
questionable
coaches
decisions
that play in these games, they say it's almost too much time because it gives you too much time to prepare and think. You think about it way too much. Like
right.
you can only prepare for one game so much, and then you start over preparing and start thinking of other things and overthinking it.
Yeah, and I'm afraid TCU's doing that exact right there, Dykes. I think
I think Michigan is
game.
It's very simple for Michigan. Just do what you've done all year. Be your best. Run the football. I know your starting running back is out, but he was also out against Ohio State and he didn't have any problem. Your offensive line is really good. Your quarterback is great at the play action passing game. I mean, he's built for the play action. Throw it deep, check it down if it's not deep. Michigan's very simple, and their defense is so underrated. Michigan, their secondary might be the best secondary in the country. They're so physical. If you go back and watch that Ohio State game, Ohio State's best receiving core in the country. Although the best receiver, or one of their best, didn't play, Smith and Jigba. But like Marvin Harrison struggled to get open, and he might be the best receiver in the country.
Yeah.
I mean, there was times he couldn't get open. Now he had a big day. But there were sometimes he just couldn't get any separation. Michigan is so physical in the secondary. I think TCU, who also has a great receiving core, I think they're so similar to Ohio State. I see this game playing out very similar, and Michigan just ends up wearing them down, especially in the fourth quarter. Pulls away, wins comfortably. So yeah, I think I like Michigan. My second one is Ohio State, Georgia. I think Georgia is very similar to Michigan. I think they can run the ball with anybody, but I think they have more freedom in the passing game with Stetson Bennett, and he's smart. He knows where to go with the football. Georgia is a little bit more dynamic than Michigan is on offense because of the tight ends and also Macaulay Culkin, receiver. I don't remember his real name, but Macaulay Culkin. That's what we'll call him. Dude, is him and Stetson Bennett. They're doing it with like no star walk-ons at quarterback and receiver. Georgia's best team in the country. I think there's just going to be a lot of points, Georgia, Ohio State. Georgia's favored by 6.5, but I like the over 62. I mean, because Ohio State's going to score. I mean, they scored what? High 20s, 30s against Michigan. I mean, I think they'll score 24 plus against Georgia. I mean, I think Georgia could get close to getting 40 here. It's 62. I mean, Ohio State might get to 30. Georgia gets close to 40. There's your game. There's your over. Give me I like the over here. Ohio State, Georgia over 62.
I like that too. That was the only play I think was going to play that I was going to play in that game. I'm not going to call it for the show. I might end up betting that, but that's the over for exactly the reason you said. Ohio State's going to get theirs, and I believe Georgia's going to win the game. So Georgia's got to score.
I think Georgia wins the game. And I'll probably, like I said, I'll see how it closes. I mean, Ohio State, they do have the ability, though. They can throw the football. And I will say, well, one thing Georgia's weakness has been this year, it's been in the passing game. They've given up some passing yards. Keely Ringo hadn't been as good as he was as a freshman. But overall, their defensive line at Georgia is so good. what's his name? Is it Carter? It's the
Yeah.
defense. I mean, he's just dominant. Ohio State's not going to get much in the run game, but Stroud's he can throw it. Marvin Harrison can get open. I think they'll put up some points. That's why I like the over. We go to Monday, Monday, January 2nd. Four games, four really good games. You got the Rely Quest Bowl, Mississippi State, Illinois. You got the Cotton Bowl, Tulane, USC, Circus Bowl, LSU, Purdue. And then, of course, the Citrus Bowl, LSU, Purdue. Then, of course, the Rose Bowl, one of my favorite bowls of the year. And then after that, you'll have that Monday night football game, Buffalo at the Cincinnati Bengals. The Rose Bowl is Penn State, Utah. So those four games, I have two plays on this day to round out my 11. First, Mississippi State, Illinois, the Rely Quest Bowl for the Pirate. I mean, they're playing in Tampa Bay, which has a pirate ship in the stadium. It's for the Pirate, RIP. Mississippi State favored by 1 point. How can you not take the Bulldogs, Mississippi State, to cover that? I'm taking Mississippi State -1.
I like that. I stayed away from that because I think Illinois, I think if Leach doesn't go up to heaven to coach, I think Illinois wins this game. Well, now you've got Mississippi State. They're going to be playing on emotion.
It's a principal game for me. It's a principal game. Because I'm with you. I probably would have taken Illinois. Act like you got a degree.
It's late. That's okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, I decided to stay away from it. But yeah, I could see Mississippi State. They said this is for Leach, so I could see this one definitely going their way.
I would have taken Illinois, but you got out of principle. You got to take Mississippi State here, and it's only -1. They just got to win. Find a way to win.
Just win.
Both teams 8-4. My last pick, Rose Bowl. Love it. This is one of my favorite bowl games of all time. Penn State, Utah. I've been a big fan of Utah all year. And they can score a lot of points. Both teams can. Utah's last 4 games have went over. So I like the over here. Give me Penn State, Utah over 52.5. I don't think 52.5 is enough. I think this gets to 60s. So Penn State, Utah over 52.5.
Even I like that one.
Utah's tight end's not playing. So that worries me. Kincaid. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's a lot. It's like Notre Dame. It's a lot of their offense. But I mean, Utah, they've been on fire. Ken Rising's been on fire. Penn State can score. 52.5 is not enough points. So I like the over.
I only had one play this week, this set of games, and this is the game. The Rose Bowl, Utah, Penn State, Utah -2.5. Give me Utah -2.5. Utah, give me 2. Point break fans. Utah, get me 2. In this case, 2.5. I think Utah's the better team.
Yeah, I do too.
I think that over hits as well, but I think Utah is going to win this game and go into next year with all this momentum. They're going to be up there with Oregon and USC as the talks to win the Pac-12 and possibly make the playoff. And I think it starts Monday, January 2nd, with a big win over Penn State.
I like it. I like both those picks. No NFL bets for me.
I've got 2.
I'm laying it up. All right. What are your 2 NFL picks?
I got 2 NFL bets. I've got Dallas, Tennessee on a short week over 41. We're going to score points. I think, offensively, we've got to do something to ride some momentum. You look at the Giants, 2 Super Bowl years. They got hot at the end of the season. I think we're going to have to do something like that. We got to get the offense on track. We got to get T.Y. Hilton working in more. And what better way to do it than against a team with a backup quarterback? I think we're going to come out.
Dallas might cover it by themselves.
Yeah, I could see this one. I think if Tennessee gets to 17, I think this one's 31-17. I don't even think it's close. Tennessee can get 17. This goes. But yeah, give me Dallas, Tennessee over 41. And then another one, give me Jacksonville and Houston over 43. These 2 teams, we saw what the Jaguars did to us, and the Texans are hanging out right there in about that 20-somethings in the teens there, 20s. So I'm sitting here going, well, perfect. That's it. I think the Jaguars, they're fighting for the playoff spot now that they're in. They're
They
trying to
win.
keep that
Yeah.
going. And Houston's going, yeah, hey, we're not doing anything. Let's spoil somebody's season. So I think both teams are going to be
Well, if
really
you look
trying
at
to
the
score.
Texans' last 3 games, Cowboys lost in overtime. What they scored? They scored almost 30. Chiefs lost in overtime. They got in the mid-20s.
Mm-hmm.
Last week, beat the
It was
Titans.
1914,
They scored.
but
Yeah.
yeah, you're right. They're scoring right there in the
They're
20s.
scoring and they're playing competitive football.
Mm-hmm.
I think Jacksonville wins that game, but I can see it being – I think Jacksonville's going to score. I can see that being 34-20.
Yeah, and that's and that gets me. Like I said, it's over 43. I
Yeah, it's
think
a low number.
Jacksonville can get into the 30s by themselves, and then
Yeah.
I think all I got to do is have the Texans get in the
You're
teens,
set. I mean, the Texans
and
are
then I
playing
think
their
that's
best
it.
ball last 3 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean,
Right?
if it's 28-14,
Yeah,
what does that put you at? 42?
yeah.
You
So
need to be 28-17. Like I said, if they
mhm.
get to 30,
Yeah,
31-14 gets you home.
yeah. I think Jacksonville can get in the 30s, and I think the Texans can get in the teens, and that's all I need. So give me the over 43, Jacksonville and Houston.
There you go. There you have it. I'll give you a rundown real quick. There was a lot. We just threw a lot at you. Because all the bowl games, time we record, all the bowl games will be over again next week.
Mm-hmm.
So we wanted to break down all the bowl, do kind of a bowl special. Next show, we will break down the national championship game and the Cowboys' final regular season game against the Commanders. So that'll be next week's show. So we wanted to do kind of a bowl special to wrap that up, and with the Cowboys beating the Eagles, and playing the Titans on Thursday. We recorded a little earlier this week. I'll give you a review of the picks here. We got myself has Wisconsin, Oklahoma State under 44.5, Duke -3, Kansas, Arkansas over 69, Texas, Washington over 67.5, NC State -1, UCLA -5.5, Notre Dame -2, Michigan -7, Ohio State, Georgia over 62, Mississippi State -1, Penn State, Utah over 52.5. Jimmy has Wisconsin -3, Coastal Carolina, East Carolina under 65, Arkansas -2.5, Notre Dame -2, Tennessee +4.5, Michigan -7, Utah -2.5, Cowboys Titans over 41, Jaguars Texans over 43. And
That's
not
it.
to mention, I forgot to mention this, we were 80% again last week. That's about the fourth or fifth time this year we have combined for 80% or higher on this show. I mean, if you followed us all year, we bought you Christmas presents.
Yep, we
Your
paid
whole
for
family.
Christmas.
I mean, you're welcome, by the way.
Yep.
I was 4-1-1. Jimmy was 4-1. So on the season, 54-40 for myself. Jimmy 52-43. I mean, just as a combined show, we're the hottest show on YouTube. Combined. I mean, there might be individuals doing better, but as a show, I don't know of anybody that has two guys betting over 55%.
Right.
Then we're doing 57% as a show.
Mm-hmm.
Just phenomenal.
That'll get you paid.
Get you paid every time. So see if we can do it again this week. Fingers crossed. Maybe we'll have a heck of a time New Year's Eve party. Some of these can cash.
That'll work.
Well, that'll do it for another show, a little bowl mania for you. Cowboys Titans Thursday next week. Like I said, we'll wrap up the Cowboys Titans game. We'll look at the Commanders game, but it'll probably be a shorter show. We'll probably deep dive, probably do 15 minutes on the national championship game.
Mm-hmm.
It might even, if there's some prop bets that if they already have some prop bet lines, I might even throw a prop bet or two in there.
Team totals. I like the team totals.
Team totals.
Usually in those. Especially depending on the two teams that are playing. Right now I'm leaning towards team totals because I think it's going to be Georgia, Michigan.
I'm going to be shocked if it won't be. And I'm probably, honestly, I'll probably do a parlay, a money line parlay, Georgia, Michigan. I won't give that on the show, but that's probably, depending on what the odds will be. I don't want to lay too much money because upsets do happen.
Mm-hmm.
But if I can get a good number, especially if I'm very confident in the Michigan.
Mhm.
So and Michigan plays first. So a lot of times, if I can get it to where all right, I really feel like Michigan will win. So you lay Michigan, Georgia. So Michigan goes ahead and win. If your second number is a better value than if you just took Georgia money line, that's when I like to play that Michigan,
Mhm.
Michigan Georgia money line bet because after Michigan wins, if that money line value you just need Georgia to win, it would have been better if you just take Georgia money line. You know that
Perfect.
it's a way to
Yeah.
buy a better value if you're
Mhm.
confident in that first game winning.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I think of the two, I'm confident in Michigan. If Ohio
exactly.
State wins, I'll be a little shocked. I mean, but I won't be too shocked because I think Ohio State is one of the. I mean, obviously they're one of the best four teams in
Yeah, I
college
just
football. I
they
don't
have
see
more firepower.
defensively
I'll be
Georgia.
pretty shocked. I mean, I'll be pretty shocked. I mean, I really think Georgia and Michigan have been the two best teams all year. Uh, I think Georgia's the better team, but I think Michigan has an easier opponent.
I do too.
But I'll be shocked if either one of them, if it's not Georgia, Michigan, I'll be pretty shocked. That's why I'm
We'll
pretty
see.
confident in that parlay. You know,
We'll see. It's exciting. I love bowl
and
season.
that's where live betting comes in because then if hey,
Mhm.
you can get a good number to hedge your bet. Like say you take the Michigan Georgia money line parlay, Michigan wins, so you're already in there on Georgia. But if it's kind of neck and neck, in the
Mhm.
second half, you can hedge your bet and place a live bet money line bet on Ohio State and cover you, so you can come out ahead either way.
Yep.
It's the beauty of live betting. So, all right, another good on grind in the books. Gonna be a great week of watching football. Looking forward to it. See you guys next week for another edition of the Gridiron Grind. We'll see you, Jimmy.
See you, buddy.